Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so we have the 9 of Cups for our card tonight. And this is a card that has everything to do with happiness. Okay. Woo. That is dreams being realized, wishes coming true, success. Hopefully, right? Okay, let's see. Now, if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. That'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Okay, so we have... It looks like a mountain goat. You can see it right here. The head, the body, kind of going up the side of this mountain. And we'll come right back to that. I just want to kind of see. So we have the seahorses. We have 2 of them right next to each other. Oh, cute. Look, there's a person going right up the hill right there. And we can see the little goat right here, the head of it. And it looks like it's kind of maybe like whistling or doing a little song. Ah, I love it. All right. So let's start with the goat. So the goat, especially the mountain goat, is symbolically a creature of great resilience, great ability to navigate difficult terrain, finding a way where it seems like there is none, the ability to just keep pushing on, and usually still with a pretty good attitude, right? We think of the goats as being kind of silly, kind of fun, but also, very, they can be aggressive and a little bit hostile when they need to be, but forceful with themselves, pushing themselves, right up the side of the face of a wall or incline, and finding those little tiny pieces of rock to use as footing. And it's almost kind of like supernatural. Sometimes you think, how did that animal get up there? How is it even possible? So I do feel like, against all odds, you have really made something very special for yourself. I don't think that life was just handed to you on a silver platter by any means. You have worked for everything that you have. And that is including your spiritual evolution, the growth and healing of self, and also the material things in your life. Having a stable domestic household setup, lifestyle, career, and so on. You have worked hard for this. You continue to do so, right? Because, Sagittarius, you are not somebody who lives in a fixed state. You're not under the impression that once I obtain something, it's forever, right? No, everything is always changing. It's never the same it's continually moving, right? And so you are also like very adaptable, okay? And, you know, you just don't look at life in this kind of unrealistic way. Like but you're also not super cynical, right? I don't think you're like such a realist that you almost kind of all of the magic and beauty and passion of life is like sucked out of it. No. You know, I think that you have a good balance. And I feel like you just have this thing burning inside of you that keeps you going, that keeps you pushing forward, trying to obtain those goals, figuring it out, you know. I imagine that you have such an interesting backstory. You know, I'm sure that when people are blessed enough to sit down with you and you open up and you tell them kind of about how your life has gone, they are amazed. You know, I'm sure you've heard in your life, like, you are so strong. I can't believe that you've, you know, made it through all of that. And thrived as well. So, you know, I see the sign and I know, yeah, this makes sense that it's a Sagittarius. You know, although it kind of looks like an Aries sign or maybe even Capricorn, but no, I believe that this is, you know, an energy that is very aligned with Sagittarius. So, let's see. We also have, it looks like an 8 and a 3. I was staring at that, so I have to say it before I forget. And I kind of see it like a G U-E-S-S. Kind of scrambly maybe. It could be Guess. Immediately I thought of Guess jeans. That tells you how old I am. But something guess. You have to guess. I don't know. Let's look and see if there's more of what that is. We have an I right in the middle. Okay, so interesting symbol to be right in the center of the bowl or cup. We also have a heart. We have, it looks like, what was it? A 20-0. We have a star. Okay. And a fish jumping out of water right here, you can see. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking it's like this feeling of keeping your eye on the goal here. We have the star. So the star to me is like a long-term goal more often than not. You know, on the other side, though, we have the heart. And I almost feel like at some point in the past, there was somebody who you fell in love with. I mean, I think you absolutely fell in love with them. But through that relationship, I feel like it was so distractive and maybe somewhat destructive. I feel like you got way off course. The things that were important to you just didn't matter that much. You were kind of maybe even codependent to some degree. You know, maybe just kind of involved in, you know, I don't know. Sometimes, especially when you're younger, right? You meet somebody, you start like going out a lot, maybe partying a little bit too much, or you know, just wanting to spend all your time with them and your friends and stuff, and you kind of lose the closeness with your family or with the work you're doing. Maybe you're in school and you're not doing well in school because you're busy with all this other stuff. And that's not to say it's wrong or right, of course, but I feel like in this situation, it's like one day you just woke up and you knew, like, this is not gonna work with the way that I have envisioned my life going. This is not the person that is going to build with me, right? We're gonna have fun. We're going to, you know, probably be passionate and have our ups and downs and all of that. But there's just not that energy of, you know, mutual motivation and the wanting to build a world together, you know, not just a family, a world. And that's important to you, okay? The things that you want to do, important to you. It's not just something that you can put down easily. So I feel that, you know, it's like a decision between the two. Now, I feel that you definitely have chosen that star energy. Now, maybe this is something that at times you kind of lament. Thinking, yeah, this could have been my person, my one. You know, we were so entangled. You know, we just absolutely felt like we were extensions of one another. You know, which is, it's understandable to think, yeah, maybe I'll never have that again, or maybe I won't ever have that again. You know, and it is obviously possible as we get older, but I think so often we look back on these first relationships, or the first big relationships, and you know, there's this romanticizing of how you felt in that time. And especially, and I can't emphasize enough that if it was when you were younger, especially if you did not have children at the time, it's so much easier to be carefree, fully devoted to, you know, this being lost in love and you know, just fully kind of enchanted by it, when you don't have a lot of responsibilities, right? And this is why I think so that the whole genre of, like, you know, coming of age, falling in love, epic romance stories, and it's enthralling because they have time to be enthralled, right? And so, you know, I think sometimes we look back and we think, oh, you know, how can it ever be like that again? Will I ever find somebody that'll, you know, be that taken with, you know, or they with me, and so on. And yeah, in moments, probably, right? But as an adult, as a real, you know, firmly in adulthood, it's hard to be responsible and you know, do all the things that you have to, need to do, and do them pretty well, right? When you are fully wrapped up in somebody just romantically. And now I am a romantic, so don't get me wrong. I love love. I love love. You know, and for me, even, you know, I had a baby and got married, you know, during that time. And yeah, it was difficult to go from being like obsessed with each other, you know, because we both were older. We weren't young, but we, you know, we didn't have kids, and we had stupid jobs. And, you know, it was like we were fine with being unimpressive. Let me just tell you that. And yes, shout out to my husband, Dove and Serpent Tarot. His name is Paul. He's amazing. But, you know, and then you have a kid and you have a life and you want to build like a family, and not just a family, like I said, a universe, a world, a kingdom together, right? And that takes a lot of work. and love begins to be expressed in different ways that maybe don't always feel so exciting. But I'll tell you what, if you can realize that when you go into the bathroom and the toilet paper has been refilled without anybody having to say anything to anybody, it's just being thoughtful, that is love, right? That is love. And so, yeah, but it is in those moments, in those quiet moments, when you're tired, when you feel alone, when, you're still working towards these great goals of your life, and I'm going to keep working towards this thing. It's not going to just show up at any given time. I have to keep going. You look back on those old and kind of easy romances, feelings, the impressions that linger, and it is sugar coated, by the way, because there's a lot in there that you might not remember how volatile, right? So I'm not trying to talk you out of your memories or any of that, but I think that it's important that we don't compare old times to what we have now, because the circumstances are so different, right? And the beauty of life is looking for the magic and the love and, the consistency and commitment and meaning and everything else in the subtle things. I feel like as we evolve as holistic beings, we realize that, those super vibrant and fiery connections, they're wonderful, but they also, it's like turning the oil lamp and that's an oldie, oil lamps, right? But yeah, turning that oil lamp all the way out, you're going to burn through it real quick, sometimes you just want it kind of a medium. You want it burning for a long period of time, consistently, right? And so, I think that this is a time of tempering. This is a time of, and also looking at it as maybe this doesn't have anything to do so much with the actual relationship, but this is kind of more about, why am I feeling this way? What's going on with me, right? How, what do I need to kind of implement into my life to kind of find some peace here? What needs to change? Maybe there's some movement that needs to happen, I see a person sitting here looking at a flower. Okay, and then we have another person over here who is standing, and it looks like they're kind of standing on top of a heart, and they're holding a fish. Okay, so to me, this just kind of reiterates this stopping and looking at things, looking at the flowers, smelling the roses, finding the beauty in the things that are around you, finding the love in your day, gratitude, right? That's the gratitude is one of the ultimate keys of life. If you're a person who can find gratitude in most situations that you go throughout the day, you're standing in a sandwich shop, you find something to be thankful for. You're finding your car in a parking garage, something to be grateful for. You return home safely, something to be thankful for, and so on and so on. Living a life where you can look for those things before, you're looking for the things to be upset about. The waitress took too long. They didn't have the whatever thing that I wanted. I didn't get my usual parking spot. Somebody else parked in it. What, the things that we're like, it just annoys us, or it brings us to a place where we're feeling those raw emotions and we become reactive. If we can get in there with this mind of gratitude beforehand, it unlocks a part of ourself that it brings that happiness. It's pouring out, I have to actively think about this constantly, because I will go for stretches of time where, I'm really in my gratitude. I'm really, trying to stay calm and collected through situations that sometimes I would just be like a rabid raccoon, a raccoon stuck in a dumpster. You flip the lid up and they're just ready to, jump right out of there at you. Absolutely, I get like that. But then, thinking about the times where it's like, okay, let me look for something in this dumpster fire that's going on that I can say, at least there's this, or, that really was hard, but I'm glad that, I got to experience this aspect of it, or whatever. And it will change the way that you live from top to bottom. It absolutely will. Now we have the person on the heart with the fish. So I do feel like there is such a connection to finding a way to live from a place of love and bringing success, especially financial success, into your life. That's not to say just only happy people make money. Only people who are, thankful for every little thing make money. No, but I do think that when we have the ability to open ourselves up, to open our heart, we connect with more things that are outside of ourselves. And that gives us the opportunity to find different ways to, make money, bring money in. Make connections, experience things where we're deriving inspiration, finding out about something you never even knew about. And hey, maybe I could do that for like work, or I could learn this skill, whatever it is. The one that I talk about is that not even that long ago, a few years ago, I had learned about death doulas. And this is a person that assists in the process of dying. Oftentimes, like in hospice, or, when somebody knows that they have an illness that they're deteriorating, right? And so a person comes in and they help the person. They're like a doula. We usually know doulas as like birth doulas, and they assist the mother in the birthing process. And so a death doula, I had never heard of it. I'm somebody who lives very close to death. I've had a lot of people die in my life, mostly from addiction and mental health. And that's just because where I come from, I come from a family of addiction. I grew up in a place where there was a lot of addiction, very pervasive, and I went on to do what I knew, right? And so a lot of my friends were addicts, and a lot of my friends are not here anymore. A lot of the people who I've cared greatly for, they have transitioned at fairly young ages, a lot of them. So, I've spent my life close to death. And it's amazing how just sometimes the world aligns in a way, and you experience something and you think, man, I think that's something that I could do. Like, this is really interesting. This is something, I can't believe I've never heard of such a thing. And it seems like, duh, right? Obviously. So you know, I could see you definitely coming into this place where it's like, there's, you know, there's something to present itself to you, something out there, you know, standing on that love that you have, that love that is just pouring out of you, open-hearted, open-minded, willing to kind of go exploring. And absolutely, I just feel like, you know, this is a time where the blessings are very apparent, you know, and the feeling of, it seems like elation, you know, just feeling like, yeah, this is something. This is something, right? And I'm looking here, and I don't want to alienate anybody, especially, you know, I try not to say God too much, because although, you know, I don't feel like it's a word that belongs to any one thing, I know not everybody identifies or resonates with God, right? Or goddess or anything, you know, deities of any kind. So, but when I see God, okay? And so I know the universe is talking to you. I like to say universe, I like to say divine, the cosmos, right? That unknown thing. But maybe it's God for you. Maybe it's goddess. You know, whatever it looks like. Absolutely, I feel you are very in touch with spirit in your life. And this is a really profound time. It really feels it just feels so potent. We have a 4 and an 8. I can't remember if I said that. 4 and an 8. So 48. Now I'm trying to see, we have a face right here. We have the mouth. And then we have a person who, this one looks like, when we turn it kind of this way, I see a person kind of walking towards the future, okay? But also you can see that there's kind of this thing coming out of their head, and it looks like it even has its own face right there. We have a bird above and a bird below, kind of leading the charge. And so I feel like it's very much this kind of crone energy. Maybe it's the hermit energy. But there's a sense of not being afraid to go on yourself, right? You absolutely, I think, are just, and here's the thing about our spiritual work. Even if we have, you know, magical partners, or you know, a consort, or, you know, whatever. Somebody who you do your spiritual work and rituals and studies and, you know, alongside each other. Ultimately, we are doing these things by ourselves, or what we perceive to be alone, right? These are our own paths. And I feel like in this period of time, there's just absolutely no fear about this. I feel like you are in a place of just, I'm feeling so full, a light just pouring out of you. And it feels like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, this is the thing for me. And I feel like it feels good for the first time in a long time. You feel very brave, and yeah, and I can just see this being kind of a gateway into this new period of your life where, you know, things I think will go your way more often than they have now, you know, than not. I think that you know, you've gone through this period of time where it feels like it's almost like a joke how bad things have gone at times. It's just one thing on top of another. And I feel like this is kind of, you're leaving that energy, you're walking into the next room. Okay. And I'm excited to see what you do with this, because I really feel like it's going to be something big, you know. I feel like this is the time where you realize something within your life, your waking life, that is it's going to be profound. I feel like it's kind of, I think of like this is your the beginning of the peak of your life's work. Okay. And we have this little it just seems like a happy, serene kind of face. And I love that. That makes me so happy to see that. Now we also have 2 candles. I call these the, you know, the candles of illumination. So I feel like this is 2 things coming to light. 2 true things in your life. I don't know what they are, but in this next period of time, there will be some clarity here. Okay. Now we also have the little ribbon, like a survivor's ribbon. So I think that this is like it is a confirmation, kind of recognition of surviving something, maybe health related, mental health related, you know, whatever it is. And I'm not sure what that, sometimes I can feel like, okay, this is coming from like a family member, or something like that, but I don't necessarily know, but I think, you know, you have survived something important. Okay. Okay, we also have the little ship. We have a person staring up at it. So there is this, it is a movement of energy. Kind of a moving on, right? Feeling like it's time to get into this next thing. You know, and there's no stopping this progress. You know, and I don't think you want to, obviously, but I feel like it's like you're on it, you know, and it's moving more quickly than you imagined. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at the Wild Bohemian affirmation cards. This is the fire element. And we will just flip through here and stop where it feels right. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. It says, I am love. Stop overthinking and have unbound appreciation for every little detail of life. Every little detail of life. Every time I read this one, I'm like, that sounds tiring, but I love it. I'm here for it. All right, Sagittarius, I love you, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And what else? If you want to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. I love hearing from you. Also, go check out my husband's channel. It's Dove and Serpent Tarot. His name is Paul, and he's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, other than that, I just want to tell you again, I love you, I love you, I love you. And we will talk in a few days. Good night, good night, good night.